All right, let's try another here. Log 2x minus 2 base 5. Is it minus? Yep. The log of x squared plus 2x minus 3 base 5. Again, I've got x inside of a logarithm. What kind of values can those logarithms not be? Or sorry, what kind of values can those x values not be? So just think about this. I've got 5 to the something power equals 2x minus 2, which looks a little more confusing than what we had last time. But just think about this, okay? Whatever I raise 5 to the power of, I know that it cannot be 0 and it cannot be negative. Another way of saying that is 5 raised to some power has to be greater than 0. Can't be negative, can't be 0. So it has to be greater than 0. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. Therefore, the only thing I really care about in terms of my restriction is when this expression is greater than 0. Okay? What values can x take on to ensure that that expression is greater than 0? That's what I care about for my restriction. Because when I raise 5 to whatever power, this has to be greater than 0. Can't equal 0, can't be less than 0, because otherwise I have an impossible statement. Okay? So to put it maybe even more simple than that, when you have a logarithmic expression that has variables in the argument here, to find the restrictions, make that equal than 0, make that greater than 0, and then solve for x. Okay? So just solving for x here, I bring the 2 over. 2x is greater than 2, so x has to be greater than 1. That's the restriction that comes from the first logarithm. So just to clarify again, as long as x is bigger than 1, this is possible. As soon as it equals 1 or is less than 1, this is an impossible statement, and therefore this logarithm is undefined. Make sense? Same thing with the other guy. Okay? Again, all I care about is when this expression here is greater than 0. Okay, so when x squared plus 2x minus 3 is greater than 0. When does that happen? Factoring it, I've got x plus 3 times x minus 1. This goes back to the last chapter in grade 11 math. When is this quadratic above 0? You tell me, graph it. I've got intercepts at -3 and 1. The parabola opens up, so it's going to look like this. Right? When is that parabola above 0?
When it's less than -3 and more than 1.
Thank you. Okay? When it's greater than 1 or less than -3. See how that works? This arm here is above the x-axis, above 0, y equals 0. When it's less than -3 for x or greater than 1 for x. Follow what I'm saying? Okay? So I've got two restrictions in this case. X is less than -3 and x is greater than 1. So what is the actual restriction on the logarithm then? I've got a restriction here, I've got a restriction here and here.
Well, it can't be the -3.
Yeah, it doesn't. How about this? If I just say x has to be greater than 1, x will never be less than -3, so I don't even have to worry about saying that. Right? So I just restrict x to strictly being greater than 1, and I then make possible x values for these two logarithms. As long as x is bigger than 1, these logarithms will be defined. As soon as they're equal to 1 or less than 1, they become undefined.
But there are still values that are less than 1 then, like if, in the end, because...
Maybe another way of saying it is the restriction for the entire expression has to satisfy both expressions simultaneously. And x is greater than 1 does satisfy both of them. Because as soon as I choose like x equal to 0, maybe that works for this one, but it doesn't work for this one, right? Because this one is restricted to being greater than 0. So again, just to put it simply, when you're finding restrictions for the variables, just make this portion greater than 0 and solve for x. Okay? Alright, now let's simplify it. Just going to move all this out of the way. Oh, there we go. That's convenient. Okay? Let's simplify. What do? I'm subtracting two logarithms. When I combine them into one, what happens?
You divide.
Divide them. Okay, so I have log 2x minus 2 all over x squared plus 2x minus 3, all with a base of 5. Can you factor the top? Yep. What do I factor out? 2. Can I factor the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did it, right? X plus 3, x minus 1. That's convenient. I've got x minus 1 up top. So then these guys will cancel. And I have log 2 over x plus 3, base 5, with the restriction that x is greater than 1.